the faculty and staff, family and friends, and fellow students to the University of Evansville as we celebrate the Doctor of Physical Therapy program's White Coat Ceremony. We are very excited to continue this tradition and celebrate the class of 2025. Thank you for being here today as we recognize the professionalism and dedication of the DPT students here at UE. This ceremony signifies the transition of these students into the professional program. The white coat you will be receiving is a symbol of healing, a symbol of help, but most importantly, a symbol of help. It's a symbol of compassion and excellence you will strive for when treating your future patients. Whether or not you choose to wear your white coat, allow it to remain a symbol of your achievements and a constant reminder of your dedication to this profession and its core values of accountability, altruism, compassion and caring, excellence, integrity, professional duty, and social responsibility. The growth and progress of physical therapy worldwide makes this an exciting time to be entering our profession. My hope is that this ceremony will inspire you, but at the same time, remind you of your duty as a professional. I ask you to think about your future as a doctor of physical therapy and the responsibility that comes with it. We are honored to have UE's president as a special guest today. Christopher Petroskevich, the University of Evansville's 24th president, Pres P, as he is affectionately known on campus, began his service at UE in July of 2018. Previously, he worked as a tax attorney, as a trial lawyer in the tax division of the United States Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and as an attorney and advisor for the United States Department of Education. In the year 2000, he entered the world of higher education as an adjunct professor at George Mason University School of Law. In 2001, he joined the law faculty at the LSU Law Center in Baton Rouge, later serving as Vice Chancellor for Business and Financial Affairs at LSU. Please join me in welcoming Pres P.
Well, hello and good afternoon. I'm glad you clapped even after they introduced me as a tax attorney for the United States Department of Education, and my client was the IRS. So it is really nice that people clap before you even speak, so thank you very much for that. Let me first start by saying Happy New Year to all of you. So those that are not in higher education celebrate New Year's Day once a year. Those of us in higher education celebrate it twice a year at the beginning of the fall semester. So Happy New Year to all of you, although I know you've been in class for the last couple of weeks. You know, we had earlier this week convocation, and so convocation marks the academic beginning of the year for all of our freshman students. And so just across Walnut Street in the Meeks Family Fieldhouse, we recognized and welcomed all of our freshmen to come and join us. And one of the things that we asked them to do is to stand up and put their right hand up, and we asked them to recite the Academic Honor Code. And the Academic Honor Code is, as you probably remember from your undergraduate days, particularly if you've been at the University of Evansville, it tells you the things that you can't do. So you can't cheat, and you can't receive unauthorized aid from other people. So it is very much kind of a restrictive approach to thinking about your university experience. When we convert to what we're doing today in the white coat ceremony, it's much more aspirational. It's much more about the things that we want you to be able to do in the future, not the things that you can't do in the future. When I was introduced as a former attorney for the United States Department of Justice, it does remind me of the first day that I became a lawyer for the Department of Justice. And I walked into the Attorney General's office. At that time it was Janet Reno. And she asked me to raise my right hand and asked me to recite my pledge that I was going to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and a whole bunch of other things. And I did. And most of those I don't remember, other than I was supposed to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. But she also gave me a pin, very much like the one that I wear on my lapel, that says UE, but at that time it said Department of Justice. And what she said has stuck with me since, well, for the last almost 30 years. And that is that you may not remember the oath that you just solemnly swore to do on behalf of the United States, but what I hope you remember by wearing the pin is always do the right thing. And so I hope that whether you wear your white coats or not, that when you go out and do your clinicals for the first time next year, that you remember the symbolism of the coat. And you may not remember the oath that you're going to take. You may not remember all of the things that our faculty taught you in your classes. You may not remember a lot about your university experience, but I hope one of the things that you do remember is that while the white coat symbolizes a whole variety of different things, for me, I hope that it symbolizes that you do the right thing. If you do the right thing for your patients, if you do the right thing for their families, you're doing the right thing for yourselves. So on behalf of all of us at the University of Evansville, and by the way, happy Purple Friday, because it is Friday, Happy New Year.
Thank you, Presby. I would now like to welcome Dr. Bethany Hebner to the podium to introduce the faculty.
Thank you. It's nice to be clapped for before you speak. Yeah, gives you high hopes, though. Well, good evening and happy Purple Friday. Every Friday here at the University of Evansville is Purple Friday. We welcome all of you and family and friends of the class of 2025 to their white coat ceremony. Today, the class of 2025, you are going to be donning that white coat. But for the rest of us, we don our purple on Fridays. And so I would be remiss if I don't acknowledge that key component of the University of Evansville's tradition. We have lots of traditions here at UE, and one of those is Purple Friday. And although the history may be a little bit muddy on when it started, I think over the past few years it has been greatly embraced by the UE family. So whether you've been here, some of you in the class have been at UE for 3 or 4 years doing your undergraduate years here, or if you're new to UE, the tradition of Purple Friday can be a good representation of also what the white coat represents, which is unity. When you don your white coat, you are entering into a field of healthcare providers that are committed to helping patients and helping them feel better, heal, gain their independence, all of those things that we've been talking about. Well, here on Fridays, we wear purple because we're unified as a university and committed to much of the similar things in our community. We serve our community, we serve responsibly, we act bravely, we think critically, and we work together, and we belong, and we're unified. And so family and friends, I would invite you to join us this year in celebrating Purple Fridays wherever you are. We know many of you are across the nation in lots of different places, and we would love for all of you to celebrate with us every Friday by wearing your purple. And if you do so, we'd love to also hear about it on social media. So snap a selfie, tag UE DPT or hashtag Purple Friday, and we'd love to celebrate that with you each and every Friday. So it is my great honor to get to introduce to all of you our faculty that makes up our department. We get to do this during the white coat ceremony because for many of you, parents, family, and friends, this is kind of your first interaction with all of us. And the students have had some of us this summer, but they're getting to interact with the rest of us over this past week. So I'm excited to get to introduce everybody to you. So first up, I would like to introduce you to our dean. Dean Mary Kessler is the dean of the College of Education and Health Sciences. She is a UE alumni and completed her master's degree at the University of Indianapolis. She's a physical therapist, and she actually taught in the physical therapy department for several years prior to her move to administration. She has a passion for ACE Care as she's a co-faculty sponsor, and all that embodies the ACE Care and that service. A little fun fact about her is she actually taught 6 of our current faculty members when they were PT students. So you're going to hear me a lot say that our faculty are UE alumni. There's only just a few of us that are holdouts, so they got to keep us around. Next up is Jennifer Simon. She's our operations administrator. Many of you have likely interacted with Jennifer throughout the process of your student coming to UE, and she serves in many vital roles for our department, from admissions to marketing and lots of everything else in between. She graduated from Murray State and is currently working, or actually completed her master's degree at the University of Evansville, master's in leadership this past December at UE. And a fun fact about her is she served as a publicist in the music industry for 10 years. So if you need some music contacts, she's the girl to go to. That's Jennifer. Next is Mrs. Jerry Maddox. She's our administrative assistant. Jerry works to support the faculty and students in many, many, many different ways, whether it's from scheduling, technology needs, support services, or really anything that we throw at her. She provides a needed support to all we do. And she also, you always have to add on the job description of this, the last bullet point, and other things that may be necessary. And we certainly throw that at her regularly. She has the best quote board, so if you haven't gone down to her desk, students, you definitely need to go down there. She provides the best quotes each week, very witty and funny messages. She graduated from USI, and a fun fact about her favorite color is purple, which is fitting, but she wanted to be clear that she likes it better than red and blue combined. So that's just a hint of the wit that she has. So. And rounding out our staff members is Jennifer Clauside. She is our clinical administrative associate. She serves kind of as a central point for all things clinical. And she graduated from IUPUI, and a fun fact about her is she survived a ball python attack while she was studying in her bed. I'll have to let you talk to her about the details about that because they're a little bit fuzzy for me, but it had something to do with her older brother and some type of seemingly innocent prank. So, those older brothers, you got to watch out for them. Excellent. So next, we're going to go into our faculty members. So our first faculty member is actually going to be our newest. This is Dr. Hannah Lamar. She's our newest faculty member and actually will begin with us on October 1st of this year. She graduated from UE with her athletic training degree and her Doctor of Physical Therapy degree. She is also a neuroclinical specialist. She comes from us from Ascension St. Vincent here in town. She'll be teaching in your neurological coursework, neurorehab, medical pathology, and also assisting in acute care coursework. So her fun fact is that it was snowing on the day she was born here in the Evansville area, which was October. So for those of you who are not from here, especially new to UE, you might want to go ahead and get your winter coat. I know it's 80 degrees outside, but you might want to have it ready. You just never know. Next up is Dr. Charlene Nolan. She began with us in August of last year, and we're so glad that she's joined our team. She graduated from UE with her physical therapy degree, and then just recently completed her transitional Doctor of Physical Therapy degree from the University of Montana. She teaches in our acute care, cardiopulm, neuro, and gross anatomy coursework. Her research interest includes the use of compression stockings in high-risk individuals to decrease incidence of venous insufficiency. And a fun fact about her is that she actually met Mother Teresa as a kid. So if you get around her enough, maybe you'll get some of the blessings of that. Next up is our Director of Clinical Education, Dr. Mark Martineau. Mark is also a UE alumnus and as well attended the University of Indianapolis and University of Montana. He teaches primarily in our clinical education coursework as well as community health and physical interventions. His research interest includes looking at how students being involved with research and how they participate in that. A fun fact about him is he enjoys magical family trips to see the mouse at Disney. So I don't know how many trips there have been, but I think there's been several. So. Next up, we have Dr. Kyle Matzel. He's also a UE alumni. And completed his PhD at the University of Kentucky. He teaches in our musculoskeletal, therapeutic exercise, and wellness coursework. His research interests include musculoskeletal movement screening and injury prevention in baseball players. A fun fact about him is he is the only person, to my knowledge, so you can correct me later if you know of someone else, to actually ride on the same train that hit him. It did happen in Buffalo, New York. So you can talk to him later and have him explain that story in class, okay? So. And he survived. Came back. Next up, we have Dr. Jason Pitt. Dr. Pitt is a UE alumni from our neuroscience program, and he completed his PhD at Northwestern. He teaches in our scientific inquiry and neurobiology coursework. His research includes educational approaches to improve exam performance. And a fun fact about him is he has none, only fun opinions. Next up is Dr. Kate Schwarzkopf-Pfeiffer, or as most people refer to her as KSP. She is a UEPT alumni and also did her transitional DPT at Regis University and then her PhD at the University of Kentucky. She teaches in our musculoskeletal coursework and scientific inquiry coursework. Her research includes trunk stability in active females, fitness for individuals with disabilities, and a whole host of other things. So she's very busy in the research world. Her fun fact is she has completed 15 triathlons, including a half Ironman, so she's a boss. Interestingly enough, when she completed the half marathon, her race number for the event was actually 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you don't believe me, have her show her shoulder because it got sunburned into her arm and she still has the lasting shadow in that shoulder. So. Next up is our Assistant Director of Clinical Education, Dr. Katie Whetstone. She graduated from UE and teaches in our gross anatomy, musculoskeletal, and clinical and professional issues coursework. Her research interests include thoracic mobility, the female athlete, and pro bono physical therapy services. And just recently, she was presented with the 2022 Outstanding Professor of the Year Award at the commencement ceremonies this past May. And so I'll be riding that train over and over again. So we should give her applause for that. We should also applaud the fact that she can recite Ice Ice Baby and the Gettysburg Address. So impressive skills there. Next up is Dr. Ling Liang. She graduated with her PhD from the University of Delaware, and her research interests include motor control in children and adults with and without disabilities. She teaches in our pediatric, neuro, and acute care coursework. She's also an excellent baker, and we enjoy her special treats all throughout the year. A fun fact about her is she has 2 pet rubber chickens in her office, so if you need some squeeze or support, they are there for your help. So. Next up is Dr. Phil Plisky. Phil graduated from UE and received his Doctor of Science degree from Rocky Mountain University. He teaches in our musculoskeletal, leadership and administration, and diagnostic imaging coursework. His research interests include injury prevention, prediction among athletes, military personnel, and school-age children. A fun fact about him is that he has a goal of his family to visit all the national parks and Major League Baseball stadiums, as which he's already completed several, is well on his way to that goal. So. And last but not least, finally me. I graduated from IUPUI and completed my PhD at Bellarmine University. I teach in the musculoskeletal, clinical, and professional coursework, and then also clinical education. My research interests include supporting learning in DPT students as well as injury prevention in athletes. And a fun fact about me is actually 6 years ago, my little wiener dog, who's named Mini Corn Dog with Ketchup Hebner, and it's funny for 3 things because she's blonde and she's a wiener dog. And anyway. But she became a champion racing wiener dog, and she actually set the track record for the fastest wiener dog at Ellis Park. We have a 45-pound cement bust dachshund in our front landscaping to prove it. So, Well, that is our dynamic and amazing team. I hope that you take every opportunity to introduce yourself to them, and I hope that as students that you take the time to go see them in their office hours. Their doors are open. They want to meet you and talk with you. Thank you all for listening. We thank you for your ongoing support, and especially for wearing your purple on Fridays this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hebner. I'd now like to invite Dr. Katie Whetstone to the podium as our faculty speaker.
Thank you. Luckily, Sarah, I'm as short as you are, so I don't think I have to move the mic too much. So there we go. Thank you all for having me today. So I'm curious, do you all ever get the fear? Like the fear that you won't be good enough, or the fear that someone might discover the real you? Like if you let them in, that they might actually see some of the mistakes that you actually are capable of making, even though you strive so hard to find that they won't? Well, I have the fear. In fact, I had the fear today while I was teaching you all anatomy this morning. And to be totally transparent, I have the fear right now. This is an intimidating situation. And I think that all too often that it's the fear and not the failure that often keeps us from our successes. So like you, this summer I started something new as well. So while you all were in class with me, I was taking some classes of my own. These were a little bit different. I started doing some like high intensity interval training fitness classes. And I just have to say that was way outside of my comfort zone. So for most of my adult life, I played sports in high school, but for most of my adult life, I have done kind of my fitness things in isolation. I'd run in my neighborhood or lift weights kind of in a garage gym, always by myself, always in isolation. But this time, I decided to step out and do something new. I was ready to grow. I was ready to become stronger and better. But man, did I have the fear. So I showed up to this place that I've never been before by myself. I went to a class with people that I had never met to be taught by someone that I didn't know or have a connection to, and to be put in a situation where I might be pushed to my greatest fear, which is failure. And what's worse is that in that situation, if I did fail, it wouldn't have been in secret. It would have been in front of a group of people that I didn't really know, and I wasn't really sure if I could trust. And I'm wondering if you've ever felt the same way. For many of you, you've already had that experience this year, right? You showed up at a new school for many of you, or at least a new building, with a group of people you didn't know, and with a lot of excitement, but maybe a lot of fear too. But in my case, this summer, I did it anyway. I had the fear, but I decided to show up. And what I realized was that once I put down the fear and just showed up, I found out that I was already on my way to success and progress. Once I put my fear down and was vulnerable enough to open up and talk to someone else, kind of encourage other people, really, right? Like I realized that everyone in the room has once experienced the fear too. And you know what? Once I put the fear down, there was room to allow other things in, like that success that I was going for, like encouragement. Once I put the fear down, I was able to accept feedback as something that could help me and grow me, strengthen me, and improve me, instead of looking at it as something crippling, right? And something that meant that I was a bad person or that I had done wrong. You know, it's no secret that PT students are driven, right? You guys are driven by the idea of success. You're driven by excellence. We know that because that's why you're here. That's how you got here. But for many of you, you also toe that line between the drive for success and that fear of failure. And sometimes you carry it so closely, that fear, that you don't get to even see and experience the joys of the success and the excellence that you already have. You know, as a faculty, we want you to be successful too. But I think sometimes the success that we measure, the way that we measure success in a PT student is maybe a little bit different than the way that you think we measure it. See, success for us is not measured by your perfection. You know, instead, success to us is that you all may find a lifelong career in physical therapy that brings you joy, excitement, a sense of fulfillment, and the knowledge that you have done what you set out to do, which was help people, right? That you have brought people to a better place in their health and wellness and function because of what you know and what you're able to do. You know, your faculty here in the University of Evansville Doctor of Physical Therapy program are some of the most successful PTs in the world. I'm serious. They really are. Just ask around. But the truth is, they aren't successful because they're perfect. They aren't perfect, I dare to say. I'm not perfect either. Certainly not perfect. You'll see that a lot of times, right? We talked about that in anatomy today. But why they are successful is because they have chosen to set fear aside time and time again and have instead chosen vulnerability. You know, on the first kind of glance or comparisons of the words, fear and vulnerability can seem kind of similar. I feel like they both have this little bit of like a negative tone to them at times. But in reality, they are very, very different. You see, vulnerability, the type of vulnerability that is chosen, right? Not that is forced on you, but that is chosen in a safe way. It requires a lot from you. It's risky. It requires emotional exposure. It has the potential that we might really know something or someone, or that they might really come to know us. And while that feels hard, it's not the same thing as fear. You know, there is rarely, if ever, any fruit that comes from fear, but from vulnerability, the possibilities are endless. For us, as your professors, there is a lot of vulnerability in what we do. Believe it or not, standing in front of nearly 50 very intelligent students every day is quite intimidating. There's vulnerability in that for us. Accepting or acknowledging that we don't always have the answers, that's very vulnerable. When we set out to produce research, right, and we have this question that we want answered, and we put our heart and soul and time into trying to answer a question, all to find out that maybe we were wrong, or that maybe our papers didn't get accepted. Man, that's a vulnerable place to be. There is a lot of vulnerability in standing up in front of hundreds of other PTs, which your faculty do regularly, to teach them or to share their research findings. That's a vulnerable situation. You know, for me, some of my greatest growth professionally has come from situations where I have been asked to be vulnerable. And I certainly had the fear and didn't want to do it. Vulnerability is tough. Vulnerability leaves the door open to be exposed and to be truly known by others. But for you all, as you pursue your excellence, your success in this program, I would beg you to put down the fear and choose some ways that you can be vulnerable. We can start small. For example, maybe try something new or a little harder when it comes to your studying, right? We know, yes, this is the research side of it, but we know from research that learning is best when it's hard and when it's vulnerable. The types of learning that expose you for what you know and what you don't know, those are the good kinds. So show up to a study group with people that you don't know, even if you're not prepared, even if you don't know all the answers, show up anyway. Go to an SI session or a success lab, knowing that they might call on you, and go anyway. Be vulnerable by investing in your community. Not just the Evansville community or the University of Evansville community, though those are really good communities to invest in too. Invest in this community, the UE DPT community. Invest in each other. It can be really easy to come into class every day, talk to the 2 people that you know, and not open yourself up to the exposure of others. But do it anyway. Be vulnerable. Because the people sitting next to you are not just your classmates, and they're not just your competition. They are going to be your colleagues. They're going to be your greatest and easiest resources in just a few years. Don't you want your greatest resources to be the best that they can be? We know that when we give to our community, everybody wins, right? They win because you've given to them, but you win as well. You grow in that process. And lastly, be vulnerable by reaching out for help. Be willing to ask, right? We have so many resources for you, great faculty that seriously want you to come and talk to them. Be willing to reach out to your advisors, your instructors, reach out to upperclassmen and mentors, but please reach out. Be willing to be vulnerable. So in a few moments, you will receive your white coats. And as you walk across the stage, I hope that symbolically you would be willing to lay some of your fears down as you literally put on a symbol of something new, a symbol of who you are and all that you will become, a symbol of progress and of the excellence that you already possess. Congratulations, class of 2025, on receiving your white coats today.
Thank you, Dr. Whetstone. Our next speaker is Dr. Ethan Hughes. Dr. Hughes is from Benton, Illinois, and a University of Evansville graduate, earning a bachelor's in exercise science in 2017 and a doctorate in physical therapy in 2019. Following his completion of his DPT, he obtained his SFMA Level 1 and Level 2 certifications, as well as becoming Level 1 certified in administering the FMS and Y balance test. He has recently obtained his certification through the APTA to be a certified instructor for future PT students. Dr. Hughes currently works for Rehabilitation and Performance Institute in Hancock County, Kentucky. As a certified strength and conditioning specialist, he gained experience utilizing his knowledge when working with professional and semi-professional athletes in Phoenix, learning to better bridge the gap between rehabilitation and performance. Currently also serving as a strength and conditioning coach for several different teams at Hancock County High School, including football, softball, and women's basketball teams, Dr. Hughes is passionate about his work with high school athletes and seeing his patients achieve goals and levels of movement they did not believe was available to them. Please welcome Dr. Ethan Hughes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Hughes, a graduate of the UE DPT 19 class, and I would like to welcome you all here today as we celebrate this wonderful occasion. Before me sits a group of individuals who have made it through the rigors of their summer coursework and are ready to take the next big step in their professional journey. Let us take a moment to celebrate and applaud them for making it this far. Now, UE DPT 2025, I would like to take these next few moments to give you guys a few nuggets and pieces of advice to make it through these next 3 years. I want to make this short and sweet. This day is all about you guys and celebrating how far you've come and how far you've made it this far. And also, the longer I'm up here, the sweatier and shakier I'm about to get. So, nugget number 1. PT students as a whole, we're perfectionists. I know that, you guys know that, and I am a hypocrite when saying this, but during your studies these next 3 years, you don't have to stay up till 3 a.m., 4 a.m., cramming for all your exams. I promise you guys, if you be a little more diligent in studying throughout your day, being very, very thoughtful in your studies, and getting a good night's rest, you have a whole lot more mental clarity for your exam the next day. Nugget number 2. Liar. Call me crazy on this, but during your soft exams, you submit that exam is shown it's submitted, and before that grade pops up, close the laptop down. No need to worry about what the score is, what it's going to be. It'll be in the grade book a couple days later, but you got so many more things on your plate at that time, so let's move on from it and get on to the next thing. A wise person once told me one time, don't sweat the petty things, and don't pet the sweaty things. Now, for my 3 points of advice. Number 1, if there is one skill for you guys to really hone in and work on in your next 3 years here, is your ability to connect and interact with the patients in front of you. During your next 3 years, you'll be provided the clinical skills, management, interventions needed to be great clinicians one day. I'm positive of that. But there's one skill set that can really separate you guys right out of school in your new professions, is the ability to make that connection with that person in front of you. Healthcare today is only getting more and more rushed, hurried, busy, messy, that I can't begin to describe how many times in my early clinical career a patient voiced their happiness, their excitement, and just feeling that they were being listened to and their problems were being heard that day. So, great news here at UE. Through ACE Care and its ever-evolving branches, you'll have so many opportunities to work with a diverse set of individuals and patients and really, really hone in on that ability to figure out what makes that person in front of you click and what can you do to get them better. Because again, you will have the skill set. You will be where you need to be by the time this program's said and done. But to take that ability to the next level and to really, really get your patients better, I promise you, work on those connections. Advice number 2. When it comes to, Katie mentioned fear, a lot of fear. It sounds cheesy, it sounds cliche, but really get to know your classmates. These next 3 years are designed to test you. They are designed to make you better clinicians at the end of it. But they're a very, very difficult and hard road ahead. There's no way around it. But what better support system do you have available than all of your peers right next to you? They're going through the same thing. So, in the classroom setting, find some people who maybe learn a little differently than you and bounce ideas off of them. Let them challenge you one way, you challenge them, and make each other better because of it. It's not a competition. You guys are all one cohort, and you want to see each and every one get to the end of that tunnel. Outside the classroom, find whatever outlet you need to decompress and get away from the stresses of its day-to-day grind, because it's a grind. So play some intramurals with each other. Hop on with your faculty. The Kyle Matzel, call him the microwave. He gets buckets. He heats up pretty quick on the basketball court. Kate, co-rec A-League champion, no big deal. But again, find those ways to decompress from that stress. Because I promise you, when you see the same peripheral nerve injury question on 6 straight orthopedic exams, and to this day, you can tell, I still do not know if I ever got it right. You need to find that outlet to blow off some steam. And number 3, I challenge you to get to know the professors outside of the classroom setting. This is something I wish I would have done a better job of, because in front of you, right here in front of me, are a group of individuals who are incredibly, incredibly invested in wanting you to succeed and achieve your dreams. Not only that, but they are at the forefront of this profession, leading this profession forwards and making it better for all the years to come. So, walk into their office one day, ask them, what research study are you currently working on? What do you need help with? See a side of physical therapy that it's not open to a lot of individuals, and see some really, really cool things going forward. That's really it. These next 3 years, they're designed to test you. There's no doubt about it. But I promise you, grow with one another, get to know one another. You got this. Best of luck in the years to come, and congratulations.
Back down it goes. Thank you, Dr. Hughes. Our next speaker will be Maddie Franklin. She's a third-year student here at UE and ACE Corps board member. She'll give a few words on our pro bono physical therapy clinic, ACE Care.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Maddie Franklin. I'm a third-year student here in the UE program. You guys have gotten to hear me speak a couple times now, so I feel, like I know you guys a little bit. Hopefully I'll get to know you a little bit more over the semester. Honestly, it seems like just yesterday that I was sitting down there in your guys' shoes, extremely nervous about what the next 3 years was going to have in store for me, and really nervous about walking across the stage in my heels. But if you're anything like me, you are probably sitting there with some questions. You might be wondering, am I on the right path? Am I in the right place? And if your family and friends are anything like mine, you may have similar questions and your own apprehensions. So I wanted to start today by just saying there is no better place for you to become a physical therapist than here. And I truly, truly mean that. The faculty sitting in front of you today and the students sitting around you, they are going to become more than friends and faculty, but they'll be like a family if you let them. I can't promise as you progress through the program that it's going to get any easier, but I can promise that if you learn to rely and lean on each other, it will be a lot more fun. I can also say with absolute certainty that there is no one else that I would have wanted guiding me through this grad school journey than the faculty here. And I really, really do mean that. One of the core principles of the physical therapy profession is altruism, which is the selfless concern for the well-being of others. This program embodies this principle in everything that it does. But one of the best ways that us as students can get a chance to participate in being altruistic is through a program called ACE Care. So ACE Care is a student-led and student-run pro bono organization here through the UE DPT program. It started about 11 years ago when students approached the faculty here about how could we as students create or have a bigger impact on our community. How can we use our skills, the knowledge that we have, and bring physical therapy services to the community for free. And so with the help and the support of this wonderful faculty here, this organization has now grown to encompass 3 different branches. Our first branch, ACE Plus, offers traditional physical therapy service, individualized one-on-one PT, where we treat homeless, underinsured, and uninsured patients in the Evansville area. Our next branch that we incorporated was Acercise, and this is a group exercise program that focuses on patients that have or are recovering from neurological diagnosis such as stroke and Parkinson's. And then finally, our most recent branch is ACE Buddies, and this is a group exercise program that focuses on adults and children with special needs. All of these programs are so rewarding to get to be a part of, and every single one of these programs and being able to participate in them, as I've gone throughout my time in physical therapy school, all of the trials and kind of the pitfalls and the trenches of grad school are definitely real, but this is something that has continually brought back my purpose and reminded me that this is bigger than myself and that this is why I wanted to become a PT. This organization would not be possible without our volunteers and without the support of our donors. If you would like to be involved in our organization in any way, I would be happy to speak with you more, and I will actually be at the reception at Stone Center in the lobby. So please come and bring any of your questions that you have about ACE Care, about physical therapy, about the program in general, and I would love to speak with you guys. Then finally, to the DPT class of 2025, very soon you're going to wake up and you're going to be a third year, and you're going to look back and realize just how much you're going to miss things like stats memes from KSP and sarcastic jokes from Dr. Pitt that you're not quite sure if you're supposed to laugh at. Laugh at them, they are funny, and but the biggest word of advice that I can offer you all is to enjoy it as much as you possibly can, because you'll blink and it'll be gone. But good luck, and I want to wish you the warmest congratulations.
Thank you, Maddie. I would now like to welcome Dr. Jason Pitt and the faculty to the stage as we begin the presentation of the coats for the DPT class of 2025.
Sorry about that. Just figuring out what I'm doing here. Okay, the slideshow is new, so bear with me. Dr. Bethany Hebner will be the first faculty member to coat her advisees. Please, do we give it up? I don't know.
They already clapped for me once.
I was thinking for Madison, but that's fine. Okay, Madison DeVilly. Cameron Graber. Melanie Helder. Ellen Peden. Sunanda Prasad. Meredith Roach. Kimberly Zamora. Now, Dr. Charlene Nolan will coat her advisees. Hannah Barger. Laura Beth Crouch. Aaron Deal. Alexandra Eiler. Cody Hunter. Alexis James. Savannah Slunder. Next, we'll have Dr. Kyle Matzel coat his advisees. Stephen Bender. Caitlin Lynch. Samantha Moore. Caitlin O'Donnell. Elise O'Risky. Hannah Rawhoff. Now, Dr. Kate Schwarzkopf-Pfeiffer will coat her advisees. Ashley Crawford. Gwyneth Gorley. Franco Cambiati. Marie Lodix. Caleb Stevenson. Now Dr. Katie Whetstone will coat her advisees. Sean Cody. Margaret Franz. Abigail Hatcher. Brenna McCormick. Elizabeth Siverly. Skylar Tucker. Carrie Zumbalin. Now Dr. Ling Liang will coat her 7 advisees. Grace Burgess. Michaela Heisey. Marissa Holmes. Kelsey Klein. Emma Cordy. Bailey Spiker. Catherine Williams. Now Dr. Mark Martineau will coat his advisees. Joshua Hoyk. Tyler Milby. Austin Yoder. And finally, Dr. Philip Plisky will coat his advisees. Carmen Alford. Hayden Foles. Catherine Frericks. Mary Catherine Goff. Alyssa McMinn. Jacob Russell.
Congratulations to the class of 2025 on receiving your white coats. I would now like to welcome Dr. Bethany Hebner back up to the stage to read the APTA Code of Ethics, which can be found in your programs.
Let's give a round of applause to the class of 2025. Found on the back of your program is the American Physical Therapy Association's Code of Ethics. If you are a physical therapist in the room, a licensed physical therapist, we would like you to stand. and recite the Code of Ethics with us. In the class of 2025, I would ask you to please stand. I will lead this Code of Ethics, and please join in with me. Physical therapists shall respect the inherent dignity and rights of all individuals. Physical therapists shall be trustworthy and compassionate in addressing the rights and needs of patients. Physical therapists shall be accountable for making sound professional judgments. Physical therapists shall demonstrate integrity in the relationships with patients, families, colleagues, students, research participants, other healthcare providers, employers, payers, and the public. Physical therapists shall fulfill their legal and professional obligations. Physical therapists shall enhance their expertise through the lifelong acquisition and refinement of knowledge, skills, abilities, and professional behaviors. Physical therapists shall promote organizational behaviors and business practices that benefit patients and society. Thank you. You may be seated. Let's give the class of 2025 another round of applause. Well, we are so thankful again for you all to attend today's ceremony. I would be remiss if I didn't provide a very large thank you to those who prepared and planned today's event. So I would like to give a very massive thank you to Jennifer Simon and Jerry Maddox and the White Coat Ceremony Committee, which is full of about 17 or 18 second-year DPT students. And so if you all are aspiring white coat planning ceremonies, percolate in your brain for next year, that you can join the committee. And they did a wonderful job bringing everything together. So let's give them a round of applause and thanking them. At this time, we would like to invite you over to Stone Family Center for Health Sciences for a reception. We have some refreshments available for you and some self-guided tours of our building where we do all of our coursework. So we would like to invite all of you to drive the 1.2 miles down the road down Walnut and come take a look at the new building. So class of 2025, I'd like you to stand and exit first. We're going to have them go out to the front lawn and get a class picture, and then you can meet them outside in the lawn area. So thank you all so much for coming, and we hope you have a blessed evening. The rest of you are dismissed at this time. Thank you.